All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on, and I want to thank each of you for taking some time tonight to chat with each other. I'm going to move the agenda around a little bit. If it's okay with everybody, I'm going to make a few general announcements first, and then I've got a series of at least 4 things that I think that we might want to talk about as a group tonight. But certainly we can add to whatever's on here, and any questions that we have along the way. Raise your hand, send out chat, whatever you want to do. There's not that many of us on here, so I've got myself on screen so I can see everybody. That doesn't mean that I'm going to pay attention, because you know how the governor is. Sometimes he pays attention, sometimes he doesn't. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But first of all, welcome everybody, and I will open it up later to just ask how everybody's doing. But hopefully, we've all gotten through the first now, I guess, 7 weeks. You're all still there, mostly smiling, so that's good. I don't think I have to tell you that it has certainly been 7 weeks that we would have never anticipated back in September and October when we first met at our pets orientation. So but I certainly want to congratulate each of you for hanging in there and keeping your heads up and keeping your clubs moving forward. That's really important for all of us right now. So, okay, here's some general announcements that I want to make. Number 1, if you haven't paid your RI dues, please do so. I think some of you have gotten emails from RI that were sent at the same time your dues checks were on the way, so those are probably kind of taking care of themselves. But if any of your clubs haven't paid your dues yet, you're going to get another email probably from RI in the next week. So I'd say go ahead and keep on top of that. The second thing I've got here as a reminder to get your committee chairs in DACDB and or My Rotary, whichever is most appropriate for how you do it. I always think it's better to make sure they're the same in both. I know that Rachel Moses has sent out a couple of emails about trying to get youth services people in there, and I know some of the clubs don't have a youth service person. So if you don't have a youth service person, just email her and tell her that. Yeah, because we don't all have positions for all of our spots, so and that's fine. All right, number 3, I was just looking at the membership numbers for the year and looking at My Rotary versus DACDB, and for most of the clubs the numbers don't match. Now there's always reasons for that, but that does remind me that there is something called member compare that you can do. I don't know how to do it. I think Greg Messiolic showed me once, and I don't remember how to do it. But I think Ivan Jones knows how to do it. But that's a good way to make sure that your information for your club members is the same on My Rotary as it is in DACDB. And I think almost all of our clubs are on DACDB, but I'm not sure that everybody is. Okay, item number 4.
Ron,
question? Yes.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes, you can.
So I am told that, well, for one, the numbers have never matched, and we do member compare.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also told that Rotary Central goes by the number that is entered in July 1 as the number they will compare at the end of the year, as opposed to changes during the year.
Yeah, and actually that was the next thing on my list, Colleen. You must have been reading my mind. So so the issue there is, and I think it's an email, as part of an email that I sent you, is every year Rotary International issues the official membership count. And I think I sent all of you a copy of that, and that is the number that they use for comparing official membership growth or loss, and for doing all the foundation calculations in terms of annual fund, in polio now, everything. And that's why, of course, it was so important to get everybody in before June 30th to make sure that you had it done to the extent that you could. And once that number is there, that's the number. And of course, it can create a little bit of an issue when you have decreasing membership and you're trying to be a star club or a polio eradicator club, or something like that. So So it is important. And I think Colleen was really trying to make that point. It's important to know what that number is and understand that you're going to have to live with that number, whether you're going up or down. So obviously, if you're going up, we hope that everybody can, contribute more to kind of go up with that number. But if you're going down, then it makes it harder to make maybe what your goals are. So if you have any questions about the number that you have, all I can tell you is whatever Rotary has, that number is, that's what it is. It doesn't matter what's in DAC-DB, because that doesn't matter. And arguing with them doesn't matter, because they're not going to change it. So you just kind of have to put up with it. It's the same issue that we've dealt with for a long time. And that's it. As the old saying goes, it is what it is. So the other part I had on that email was kind of reminding everybody about, we talked earlier about getting your dues paid. But one of the things I want to encourage the clubs to do is to not make donations or payments to the foundation for a member donations once a year at the end of the year or anything like that. It's good to do them kind of correspondingly with how you collect them, because it gives you as a club president and gives us as a district a feel for how you're doing toward your goals, right? I mean, if you're collecting money quarterly and not paying your first payment to the foundation until March, we have no idea what you're doing. We have no idea what you're doing. So, and you get enough emails from the governor already. You don't need any more about, hey, aren't doing anything? You really don't want another email from me, right? So encourage your club treasurer to submit foundation payments on a fairly regular basis. I mean, you don't have to do it every week or every month, but try to do it somewhat in correspondence with your collection cycle, so to speak. Okay, there are some clubs who still don't have president-elects. I don't know if any of the clubs on this call are in that group, but if you are, I'm sure that Cindy will be getting on you pretty soon, because the Pets orientation is coming up now in less than a month. Wow. It's 30 days from now is the Pets orientation, and I will talk about that here in just a second as well. So if you do have a president-elect, get that president-elect entered into DAC-DB. I think there's 3 or 4 people on the list that I saw earlier today. The clubs actually have somebody in there. They just haven't put them in yet. So go ahead and make sure that gets done by your club secretary or whoever does that. And speaking of Pets orientation, let me find my piece of paper about the plan here, because I want to make sure I get this right to you. So, okay, the plan with Pets orientation, and I know it doesn't impact any of us because, any of you, because you're not going to be there, but your president-elect will get this information pretty soon. So I want you to be aware of it to make sure that there's no misunderstanding. Cindy is trying to have the Pets orientation on September 19th live, not hybrid. She's trying to have it live. And what they're going to do is they're going to open registration, and basically, if not enough people, if half or more of the presidents sign up by a certain time frame, then they're going to do it live. And if they don't, it's going to be virtual. Now, the makeup in October is going to be virtual. Either way, it doesn't matter. But they're going to try to have the one in September live. It's not going to be at the high school in Cookeville. It's going to be at another location. I'm sorry, Crossville. It's going to be at another location in Crossville where they can socially distance. Now the schedule has just been changed, it's just been announced, and you'll see this when it gets published. But here it is. The global grants training will be 8:30 to 10:30 Central Time. The president-elect training will be 10:45 to 11:45 Central Time. That's part 1 of that, for that day. Again, these are all Central Time numbers here. Then they're going to have a box lunch for half an hour. That's from 11:45 to 12:15. Then the president-elect training will resume from 12:15 to 1:15. And then the district grants training will be 1:30 to 3:30 Central Time. And I think the district grants training is about the same time that I think that's pretty much the normal kind of schedule. So that's what's going to happen on September the 19th. And you'll be seeing something from Cindy or from Beth Stubbs, our district trainer, about that, or from me. I'm not sure who's going to send that. They're going to write it up. They may come under my signature, but it'll be going out to somebody hopefully in the next week or so, or less, because they're going to have to get their registration set up pretty soon. Any questions about that? Okay. I'll just keep going with the announcements. That's good. I like it. We'll just check them off the list.
Hey, Ron.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I thought I was muted. You said if they can't make it on that day, the makeup will be virtual.
The makeup will be virtual. It'll be October 17th.
October 17th. Okay.
Yeah. That date is firm. To my knowledge, there's no intention to try to make the makeup as a live event. So. Okay. And speaking of events, let me see. No, we're going to do the district calendar in a minute. Some of you may remember that toward the end of the spring, Governor Greg Masiolik had made an offer to some of the clubs to say, if you don't have a Zoom account and would like to have a Zoom account, and your club kind of needs the money, that the district would support payment for half of that cost for the year. And he had maybe one person take him up on it. Well, the question came up a while ago about whether we were going to continue to do that. And my answer to that is yes, we're going to. So if your club is Zooming and you're interested in getting reimbursed for half the cost of a Zoom, a membership, which is like $163 and some cents per year, the district will reimburse your club for half of that cost. So all you got to do is send me a copy of the invoice that you paid and a request to be reimbursed, and I'll take care of it. Okay. And again, this will be part of the notes that we send out to everybody. But when this first came up in March or April, we didn't know how long this was going to last. Well, now we know it's probably going to last for at least the rest of the calendar year. Some of the clubs, I think Ruby, you've already announced your club's going to Zoom for at least the rest of the calendar year. So, we need to help take care of that cost for those clubs who want to ask for that to be reimbursed. So don't be shy. We've got some funds to do that. So if you want to be reimbursed for your Zoom, and especially if you're not Zooming and trying to trying to save money, well, this is a way to do what you kind of need to have done. All right, the last thing I have is sort of a reminder for those of you who haven't had the district governor visit yet. I will be asking you to have somebody to answer the question about what's your favorite fundraising project and why, and what's your favorite service project and why. So please make sure that you are prepared for that. I would ask that maybe that person should be try to limit them to about 5 minutes or so, so that the governor's speech doesn't take 45 minutes. So, because, I'm certainly want to have people talking about things that they are enthusiastic about. But we also don't want the governor's speech to run an hour and a half. So, kind of the rule of reason there. So,
Ron, you said what's your favorite service project, and what was the other one?
The other one, what's your favorite fundraising project? And you want to have a different person to answer each question. Okay. And I'll ask you that question again before. Was that Doug? Did you ask that question, Doug? Is that you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When I call you to in preparation for the governor visit, I'll ask you who that person is going to be. So you'll either know when I call you, or you'll find out prior to me getting there. It's not a big
Okay.
no problem. So
I'll probably volunteer Cindy and Barry for.
Sure, why not? You know, I've seen that done more than once already. So, that's good. Okay, that is kind of the general announcements kind of thing. I want to talk a little bit about the four things I have on my list are the following, just so that you know. Number one is reviewing the district calendar of events for the next couple of months to make sure everybody understands what's on there, and make sure if you have any questions about what's coming up, that we can answer those questions. Number two, I want to talk about the concept of a speakers bureau. I think we were talking about that earlier today, and I think yesterday. I think that idea has come up, and I think it's something that we can do. The third thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about the concept of the district newsletter versus the district website versus emails, and what is the most effective way for communication to flow. And I know it all will depend upon the topic, but there's some very interesting issues there, from my point of view. And I do want to talk about club meeting and member engagement ideas, and some of the things that some of your clubs are doing to help get us through this COVID period. And I know I've got one really good example I want you to hear. Ruby Miller is going to talk about what their club has done. And I know some of the rest of you are also doing some really interesting things, but she'll lead us off with an example of an organized, creative way of kind of making some things happen. So let's start with the district calendar of events, and we'll start, of course, with there are the zone events about the Women in Action, and I think you all got copies of that. And I think there's one on Monday, and then there's one in September, one in October, and one in November. So. But you should already have the email on those. They're all on, I believe they're all on Monday. No, they may all be on Monday nights, but the one on Monday will be with Elizabeth Yusevich, and she's the incoming director for our two zones. And she's a really talented person. So if you have the time, you might want to listen to Elizabeth, because she's always good. We did talk about the PETS orientation and the global and district grants training. That's September the 19th. The next monthly district Facebook meeting is on September the 15th, and I think I'm going to move it to an evening event. A lot of people are having trouble with a 3 o'clock meeting Eastern time, and of course part of the problem about moving it to any evening is it doesn't matter which evening I pick, it's not going to be good for somebody. Right? Mm-hmm. Somebody can't do Monday, somebody can't do Tuesday, somebody can't do Wednesday, somebody can't do Thursday. Nobody wants to do Friday or the weekend. So I'll probably just go ahead and leave it on the 15th, but I'll probably move it to the evening. And even though I didn't know last week what the topic was going to be, I believe now that I'm going to tell John Downs tomorrow that the topic is going to be polio, our polio eradication efforts, and talking about the Purple Pinky Day, because by that time we'll be a month away from it, and we need to make sure everybody knows what's going on. So that's probably going to be our topic for our district-wide meeting on September the 15th, and it'll probably be about this time of night. Yes.
Question on the Purple Pinky.
Yes.
Since Polio Day is on a Saturday, are we doing that on Friday, or is it kind of
Tuesday, October 20th?
Tuesday, October. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yeah. And you're going to hear that again here in a minute when I go down the calendar. But since the meeting was coming up first, I thought I'd go ahead and throw that in there. So, okay, let's see. All right, we mentioned that the PETS orientation and the district grants and global grant makeups will be on October the 17th. Also on October 17th is, at least right now, listed the Rotary Leadership Institute next round of sessions. And we're not sure what that's going to entail right now, because our RLI chair, Donna Fair, really wants to do it in person. And we're not sure that's going to be doable. So we're trying to figure out right now what's going to happen. So you'll get an announcement from her probably in the next week or so, because she will make a decision about how that is going to go, if it goes at all. We've already canceled the one in August that was scheduled for, I think, last weekend. So, or after 2 weeks ago or something like that. So we'll try to do it on October the 17th. I did mention that October 20th will be the Duncan Day. I'm gonna get this right, Nick, because I always get this title wrong because it's so long, right? Duncan Purple Pinky Day for Polio Eradication. I'll say that 3 times fast and try to get it right? But that's the right title because that gets all the important words in there. So, but that's going to be Tuesday, October the 20th. World Polio Day, as Doug mentioned, is on a Saturday, October 24th. And what I think is going to happen, Doug, moving in the future, I believe that the Purple Pinky Day is going to stay on a Tuesday. And the reason for that is because, quite frankly, it's the best day for Duncan to do the donuts, to get them out, to maximize things. So if we want to sell the most donuts, the best day to do it is to have it on a Tuesday. The other advantage of that then is everybody can plan. There's always going to be on a Tuesday. If you always know it's going to be on a Tuesday, you can always plan it. So I think that's where they will be heading moving forward. Beverly, you had a question or comment?
Our club has been asking me, how are they going to handle that this year? Like, will the donuts be wrapped individually? Because what we typically do, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too, is we give the boxes out and we'll open them and take pictures, so we can share with everybody. And it's just so different now. So do you know how they're planning, or are they going to do anything differently?
Well, I'm sure. Well, the people in Duncan know what they do, or know what they're doing in terms of food safety. So I'm not particularly worried about it, but I don't know what the answer is.
Okay.
And I'm sure we'll find out before John does his thing on September 15th. Matter of fact, I would imagine that within the next week or 10 days, we'll all be getting something from John about Purple Pinky Day, and I would like to think that question will be answered then. But let's keep bringing it up, because certainly safety is an issue. It's a big issue for me, and I think for all of you. To me, it's our top issue. So we want to make sure if we do it that we do it right. So
Okay, thank you.
but good question. Okay, so really that's kind of the highlights for September and October. So are there any questions about our district calendar right now? Hi, Bonnie. I see you snuck in here. Good to see you again. And I see District Governor Nominee Al Clark has snuck in here. Are you on your phone, Al?
Yes.
All right. Good to have you here. All right. Okay, here's my next item. I think he's having technical difficulties. What do you think?
No, I said, sorry, I'm late.
No, that's okay. That's the old saying goes, it's better late than never, right? Something like that.
Right.
All right. The next topic that I want to bring up is the idea of a speakers bureau. And I've heard this idea before. We've never really taken it on, but I think right now, given the Zoom situation that we're in, wouldn't it be a good idea to try to put together a list of speakers that the clubs could use for Zooms for club meetings? I know that many of you, those of you who have heard my presentation or sat through a board meeting with me have heard me already, promoting Jim Roxlow, talking about positive peace as being, something I think that all the clubs would be interested in. And one of Beverly's programs about that she had a speaker on human trafficking, and that sounded really interesting too. And so those are the 2 programs that I have been promoting to other clubs who were saying, tell us about some programs. But I know some of you have had some speakers that I know you think other clubs might be interested in. So the idea would be to set up some sort of a central location to get these speakers and maybe put them up on our website or something, so the clubs can know here are certain speakers that have been recommended, and here's how you contact them if you're interested in it. Now the other side of that, which is a a positive thing for us is you all might recommend or hear about a speaker who we might want to have as our monthly district meeting person. Because, some of the stuff I want to kind of vary this between Rotary topics and non-Rotary topics, so to speak. Last month, this month we talked about the schools. Not that the schools don't impact Rotary, because they impact everything. But that was more of a general topic. Next month we are going to talk about polio, and that's going to be a very specific Rotary topic, right? October we might want to go back and look at, okay, what's a topic of interest that might that the folks in our district might want to hear about that impacts Rotary, but it's not a Rotary topic, like membership or public image or something like that, right?
Hey, Ron.
Yes, go ahead.
We're getting a feedback.
Yeah, I think somebody's phone is open,
Okay.
but I think it's better now. I think it might be gone. I don't know. I don't think it's me, but we don't know. I did miss another event on the calendar. September the 26th is our district foundation membership, public image, and youth services seminar. And that is something that we have that we used to do in August, and we postponed it until September, and we're doing it on the weekend that had to do with that it used to be the RILA weekend. So I think Harold, can you put your phone on mute? I think it may be coming back for you. All right, thank you. Okay. So, and you'll get some more announcements about that as well. That again will be a virtual meeting. Probably, my guess is two of the topics will be covered late morning, and the other two will be covered late afternoon, kind of thing. So, it's somewhat of a similar format to what we've done in the past. Okay. Anyway, that's the idea of the Speakers Bureau. Anybody think that's a good idea? Bad idea? Don't care?
I think it's a wonderful idea. We're constantly grappling for new and creative ways to do business, and I think if we're going to do as our club is doing through at least the end of September, we're going to do alternate live and virtual. And a virtual environment is perfect for somebody, particularly if they have a slideshow to present. So, and the virtual environment is. You can get anybody from all over the world.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Ruby, you had to comment?
Yes, I did. I just wanted to mention the fact that we've had one speaker that the Sunset Club also had, who is the president and CEO of the Raleigh-Durham Airport Authority. And he gave an excellent presentation about the effects of COVID-19 on the airline industry. And this is something that was really good, and I feel that it would be of interest to everybody. He gave statistics that I could not believe. So that would definitely be a person that we would want to be in the Speakers Bureau.
Right.
The other speaker that we had is a former member of our club who gave a talk on racial equity. And this was also a very, very good presentation. And I have the PowerPoint that he gave to me, but this is one that other people might have an interest in.
Right, very good. Woody, were you going to make a comment there, I think?
All I was going to say is I concur. I agree with it being a great idea.
Okay. Well, I would like to ask all of you to, for if any of you who have had speakers, and Ruby can obviously, start this off by, sending me those two, and then Beverly has been sending me some already. So, but if you've got a speaker who you recommend that you think that our clubs would like, number one, that our clubs might be interested in, number two, one that you think maybe the whole district might want to hear, so right now, send them to me until we figure out who I'm going to ask to actually pull this off. I think it sounds like a real good job for the Public Image and Communications Committee, but I'll have to figure that out. But because this was kind of a new idea. So.
Shoot for the stars and ask for Holger Knack.
Well, we could probably get Holger. But send me an email about that, Alan, and I'll say I've gotten a request. My presidents want to hear the president.
Will do.
But we can. We know Holger, and there's a good possibility that that can happen because he's speaking. He's on Zoom probably right now 6 to 8 hours a day, at least. And he's probably talked to, it's kind of an interesting thing. He's probably talked to more Rotarians than he would normally talk to by this time, easily, because he's not spending as much time on the airplane. It's just, that's just kind of how it is. So there are some hidden advantages to this COVID situation, although I'd rather trade back for the old days, but we'll do the best with what we have. So, okay, the next topic I had that I want to ask you guys about, and this is one where I don't have it. I've got some ideas, but I'm really interested in your thoughts about it. Is I've been trying to figure out how to balance information getting out to clubs and club presidents, and to where do we put things in the district newsletter? Where do we put what do we put in the district newsletter? What do we put on the district website, and what's best by email? Now, and I understand we have not done a district newsletter in several months, and there is one in the works right now. Part of the problem with the district newsletter is by the time it gets done, some of the information is already old, and so that's been an issue for me, because Sue Ann Lewis was having some trouble getting this done, and the stuff I gave her a month ago, now half of it's going out because it's already over, right? Things I had in there are done. So my question to you as club presidents, because your situation and your club's situation, is what's the best way to get information to you and to your club members? And I'm just opening up for just general comments about that. Woody, you're ready. Go ahead.
Email, period. And if it's something that applies to the club, I can send it on out, forward it to everybody. Why not?
I agree with that
I agree
too.
with that.
If it's something that you're wanting to tell us and that we need to get to our clubs, I think that email is good. And then to me, the newsletter might just be kind of what clubs are doing and kind of general information. Or like I was asking you about the grant checklist. You said it was on you said it was the website though, not the newsletter, right? Yeah. Anyway, so just kind of general information to me might be a little bit more of the district newsletter. And I don't know, does everybody get the district newsletter? I used to never get it until I became president-elect.
Yeah, well, that's something I'm going to try to figure out how that happens as well. I mean, what I intend to do is once we do a district newsletter, I'm going to send it by the famous DAC-DB P-mail, so that everybody gets it, as opposed to sending it to the presidents and hoping that they send it on, because sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. But I think maybe what you guys are, if you all are saying that, yeah, Woody's got a good idea, and Beverly and Mike, maybe just what we might look at is, if it's basic information that the governor or the assistant governors want to give to the presidents, that we should just do that by email, and maybe do it on some sort of a regular basis. I'll go back to actually when Karen was governor, she actually did a weekly Monday morning newsletter kind of thing.
I like that.
And that was a lot of work for her, but it was continual, consistent. You always knew you were going to get it on Monday morning. It was always fresh information. And of course, and then if there was a follow-up stuff, you'd have follow-up, within the next week kind of thing. And if that is something that you guys are open to, I can look at that, because it's a lot easier for me to say, okay, on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, I'm going to put together the information for this week for you all and send it out. And then you've got it and you can do with it what you want to do. And I don't have to wait until I've got enough to send, so to speak. So
And Ron,
I would really like that to be done, because I get I work, obviously, and I have a huge amount of email that comes into my inbox. And it'd be so nice to just have one consistent one that would fit in information about a lot of things in one newsletter. So I'm not looking at 25 emails saying Rotary in 3 days.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful.
Okay, Mike?
Ron, I was going to say, we send out our newsletter to the club the club members on Friday, but I've started on Monday sending out just a message. And I was going to say you could do the same thing. It doesn't have to be a newsletter, but I just send out a message, kind of stressing who our speaker is going to be, encouraging, to join either in person or by Zoom, and any other thing that we've got going on. It's just a reminder.
Sure. Well, and again, David Day, I see you up with your hand up. So
here's something that I always worry about. I always worry about getting water to the end of the row. And if you have a newsletter that you can, through DACDB, send to all the Rotarians in the district, I think that's a great idea for information that you want to get to all Rotarians in the district. One of the things that it does is it allows it to get there without it being held up in our email boxes or us having to do an additional step or two. But if you have things that you want to get to the club presidents, and then we have the discretion to say, well, we need to get it here and there, email absolutely is the best way to do it. But I think if you have the newsletter that comes from the district, it's going to go to all Rotarians, it's going to go to them by email as well. Am I wrong?
Well, that's my intention, that we get it up so that we can send it by email. And I think that most of the stuff that we send in the newsletter is going to be, as someone was talking about earlier, it's going to be more about what the clubs are doing, kind of general information. You might find this of interest. This is something that folks are doing, but really kind of more general information. And the emails to the presidents would be more about, here are things that you really need to know, or maybe something you need to be working on this week, or something that we just found out that we think you need to know, kind of thing, or answering something you guys have said, Ron, you need to tell us about this, and you haven't done that. I'm like, okay, here you go. But we could do it, maybe if you guys are up to it, we can try it and see how it works, right? I mean, that's the other thing. We can try it. If it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. As I'm not afraid to fail because I've done it plenty of times. So.
Ron, you said you were going to use the infamous P-mail, and I don't see any alternative to using P-mail, but that requires that the database be up to date on everybody's current email address. And I couldn't tell you tonight that all my email addresses are up to date in the database.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, and that's an issue that you always have to worry about. I mean, the one thing I do know is that at least at one point, all of your emails were right. Whether that's still true or not, I don't know. But at least at one point, I had all of your guys' emails right, and I send my emails to you. You have probably noticed it. When they're going to the presidents, they're coming from my general Yahoo account, from my list, and they're not coming through DACDB. And I would continue to do that because I can control that, right? I know that it's there and it's right. And if it's not right, you'll let me know, because you'll say I didn't get this, or I've changed the emails or something like that. So see if we got. All right, let's see what I say. Okay, I was just checking on the chat there. So hi, Nancy Green. All right, hang on a second here. Your governor is having his usual technical difficulties. Here we go. Okay, all right, now we'll go back to this. Now everybody's back. There we go. All right, so we'll try this and see how it works, if that's okay with everybody. We'll try to start something on a weekly basis to the president as needed. I mean, there may be some weeks when you don't get one. So, I don't think it's, again, I get back to, I was having this conversation earlier with Brian Coate over at Tullahoma. We were doing their board meeting prior to my governor visit tomorrow. And I said, I don't believe in meeting. We can say we're going we're going to meet for an hour, but if we're done in 20 minutes, we're done in 20 minutes. You know, we're not going to waste any time just because we've got that time, you know, set aside. So, and it's the same thing with the email. If there's not enough to send something out or something that, you know, that's not urgent, I'm not going to fill your inbox any more than I have to. So, okay, if everybody's okay with that, we're going to move on to the next topic that I have, and that is club meetings and member engagement. And I'd like for some of you to share some of the things that you're doing with your club meetings and member engagement thing. And I want to ask Ruby to start because she's got a couple of committees that are doing some interesting things.
Okay, thank you, Ron. What I did was to commission 2 committees early in my year. One is just a back to meeting committee, which was to look at all the options that we might have available to us through the end of the year. The other is a fellowship committee. And so the back to meeting committee basically has come up with the idea or has come up with the plan that we will not meet in person before the end of this year. And they did this based on the results of a survey that we did of all members to see whether or not they would come back if we did meet, and how they would like to come back if they came, whether we would serve food or whatever. We're a breakfast club, and the majority of the members are over age 50. So they did not want to come out early in the morning and not have breakfast. So we decided that we would continue on Zoom through the end of the year. The fellowship committee is very, very excited. We have a couple who are members. One is an emergency room doctor and the other is a banker. And so they've gotten together with a lot of the members, and they've come up with an activity that we would hold once a quarter. The first activity would be in September, and we're calling it a Many, M-A-N-Y, Mini, M-I-N-I, social event. And these events will be held over a week's time, and we're going to do it with small groups. There would be probably 6 to 8 people attending. We're right now asking for members to volunteer as hosts. They could have this in their driveway, in their yard, on a boat, whatever they wanted to do, but to get a small group of Rotarians together so that we can have that fellowship that we miss. So we're going to use the whole week, September 13th through 19th. And in our newsletter this week, we had the announcement, and of course, yesterday at the meeting, we announced it again, but we're asking people to volunteer as hosts, but also to let us know whether or not they will attend if we do these things. So we're really excited about that one. The second one, this is our 40th anniversary year for our club. And our anniversary was actually in June, but we haven't done anything yet to celebrate. So since we're gonna have to give up a lot of our fundraising activities to fund our local foundation, we're gonna have a celebration in December when we normally have an auction and we have, we have a lot of social events in December. But we're gonna have a program called Hats Off, and we're gonna do it on Zoom. And we're gonna encourage people to wear hats, outrageous hats or whatever. And we're gonna have a fun time, but the real purpose of it is to get each member to donate $40 in honor of our 40th year so that we can help fund our foundation this year. So that's the second event. The third event will be held probably in January or February, and it's going to be an Oak Ridge scavenger hunt. And so we've got the local historian who's a member of our club, and we're going to have it very similar to scavenger hunts that you've heard about before, where we have sites that people have to find. They have to find events. They have to take pictures to document it. But it's something that they can do. And we haven't decided yet what the prizes will be. But we've also talked about maybe making it competitive with the Sunset and the Noon Club. So we haven't worked all the details out, but there will be a scavenger hunt. And the final event, we're saying is going to be a coming out party. And that will be sometimes in April, May timeframe. We're praying that by that time, this pandemic will be over and we can come out and we can really have a party. So those are the things that our fellowship committee has come up with, and we're just excited to see how it works out.
Thank you, Ruby. I just, you know, when she was telling me about this the other day, I just love the enthusiasm and the creativity. It's just a, you know, reminder to me that, you know, Rotarians really have a lot of talent in a lot of different areas. And it's great to see people coming up with new ways to kind of go about things. You know, Woody Deutsch was my guest today, or I was his guest earlier, and they're doing a very unique fundraiser with their hunger walk. They're making it virtual, and they have really upped their game, and it's going to be quite the event over there. So, looking forward to. Woody will share more information on that with all of us as they get closer to it. Right, Woody? You're gonna send me something I can put in the newsletter about that, aren't you?
Yeah, and I just want to say, in terms of engagement, we've had more people get involved with this, way more than in the past. Isn't that interesting? And probably has a lot to do with the ability to do that on Zoom or whatever. But I will keep you up on how it's progressing. Yes.
Okay. Any of the rest of you have any kind of membership ideas or engagement ideas that you're trying that's new for you that you'd like to share with the group?
One thing that we've decided to do, but we haven't done it yet, is we are having our golf tournament, which we went back and forth on that. And a lot of the one of the golf courses where we're going is state owned, so we were limited, you know, based on the number of people we could have. But we've decided to move forward with it, and so that's the only thing we've done. That's our only fundraiser anyway, and that's the only thing that we've done, you know, out with everybody. But one thing that we are planning to do is, from a social event, is just to have a Zoom social, because there's so many people attending. We're doing hybrid meetings, for those of you that don't know that. We're Chattanooga Hamilton Place. And so there's a lot of people I haven't seen in weeks because they're on Zoom. So we're going to have a Zoom social, and we're all going to dress up, and we're going to do it in September. We're going to dress up as in our favorite football game, whatever teams we, you know, attire and colors, and just kind of have a, you know, a social basically, and just get to see people that we haven't seen. And we did one of those before my year started, at the end of Tyler's year, when we had to stop meeting, like in March. And we actually had more people attend that meeting than we had had any meeting in a long time.
Yeah. Super. Actually, I'd like to take this opportunity, if we can, I'd like to go around the squares here, or the rectangles, so to speak, and kind of ask everybody to talk just for a second about, are you meeting in person, hybrid, or Zoom only? And I'm going to go in the order that I see people on my screen, which may be different than the way you see on your screen. So Carol, you're up first. So what's going on over there in Hartsville? Oh, you're muted. He's got to push the right button there, right? There you go.
All right. We continue to meet. We've had something in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 members meet at a restaurant. It's a big eating area, and the restaurant prepares meals for us there. We've continued. We've had a big car show in recent days, probably way beyond our expectations on what the car show did. A lot of people wanting to get out, I suppose, but we had over 250 cars at the car show, and raised around $20,000 for our participation in the backpack program, which is for the school children. And we're also looking at a golf tournament here August the 29th, and the support from the community has been solid. I don't know how many golfers will show up, but we've had a lot of sponsors and a lot of advertisers to join in, as they have in recent years. And so we're moving forward pretty well. We'd like to see COVID sort of disappear, but it hadn't yet. We have about 20 or 30% of our club that's not participating because of COVID, but we've had a good number meet every Thursday.
All right. Thanks, Carol. Alan, will you talk a little bit about your challenges that I know you're having right now?
Sure. What we're doing is alternating Zoom meetings and live meetings. And when we have a live meeting, we broadcast that on Facebook to try to reach out to the folks that just can't attend in person or don't want to attend in person. So mixed results there. If I were to bore down deep into it, I would find there's probably more people not in the Rotary Club watching our Facebook Live than there are Rotarians watching it. So, in any event, that's what we're doing today. The results have been mixed. The people that meet live are about 60% of our strength, and the other 40% just don't feel comfortable doing any. And by the way, those 40% are seniors, and they don't like the Zoom either. So
yeah, and then we have lots of clubs with that problem, don't we?
It's kind of the same faces, no matter which way we go with it. Anyway, we're currently in the middle of doing our 3rd annual Hot Shots event, and I'm blushing after listening to Carol say raise $20,000. We're going to do well to raise $2,500. And the issue with the Hot Shots is you got to sell the tickets. And that means you physically got to engage people, and you got to get their money, and you got to give them a ticket. And I guess we didn't think that through too well. But anyway, our ticket sales are going okay, and all the proceeds are going to our local East Lincoln Elementary to help them withstand this event that we're going through in our school systems, and that is hybrid learning already. After having that for a couple of weeks, our COVID rate increased above the 0.5%, which means they had to go to a hybrid learning environment, which also means our church is involved in being a satellite classroom. So that's where we are at the point, and we hope that by 1 October, we'll be able to resume full live meetings and have breakfast. I think it was mentioned earlier, people like to eat breakfast if they get out that early. So, yeah, we're going to do that.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Alan. Colleen, we want to tell us a little bit about Fairfield Glade.
Well, we're doing hybrid, and we get probably 80% of our memberships. Half of them are in person, and the other half are on Zoom. We've had to cancel 2 of our fundraisers that were scheduled for the spring and early September. But we are scheduling another musical fundraiser at the end of October that we think we can pull off, because there are musical festivals going on in Fairfield that they've been able to manage fairly well with the social distancing. So we're hoping that we can pull that off. And then we're looking at how to engage our members both Zoom and live. So we're working out our sound issues, because we're not in our normal place, because like somebody else said, most of our members do not want to come back to a meal. And so we're in a different place. So we're working out those so we can engage both Zoom, because we have a lot of people on Zoom, and in person. So we're working through that. But we're looking at a baby picture contest to win pictures. We're looking at a Derby Day contest on Zoom for the best hat with prizes, and those kind of things. So we're stressing, because we were reduced significantly in our contribution dollars for this year, we're looking at enhancing our service projects so that we hopefully can compensate for some of those dollars with Rotarians out there contributing to those organizations.
That's right. Yeah, and you had a couple of Rotarians who put match money out to
Yes.
other club members, right?
Yes, we did. We had one Rotarian that stepped up, and because we're short about $30,000 for this year, and we will be even shorter for next year. So we're trying to compensate now for next year. So we had one member that stepped up early, like April or May, something like that, and offered $1,000 match for the first $1,000 raised in our club. Then we had a second person step up, and a third and a fourth. So we had $4,000 matching. And so in a matter of 2 weeks, we were able to raise $8,000 just within our club.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Super. Great story. Thank you, Colleen.
Thanks.
Beverly, you're meeting in person, aren't you?
Well, we are. We have a hybrid meeting. So we meet in person, and then we have several that join us through Zoom, and we're offering box lunches. And we meet at a church, and so the area is large enough that we only have a maximum. They're large round tables. We have a maximum of 3 at a table, and so that's worked out okay. We still don't have. We have 68 members right now. We have about 10 to 12 that join routinely through Zoom, including a couple of guests that we've had join us in Zoom. We have maybe 35, 38 attend. So we're losing some engagement with some people, and we're trying to just stay in touch with people and call them and just trying to re-engage them.
Okay, thank you. And Ruby, just kind of remind everybody about what you're doing.
Okay, well, we're meeting on Zoom exclusively right now, and other than the activities that we're planning that are coming up, we don't plan any in-person meetings through the end of the year. Our fundraising activity, the biggest one was a literacy luncheon, and it had to be canceled because it was to be held in April. But all of the sponsors and all of the people who bought tickets in advance let us keep the money for our local foundation. So we were able to award $30,000 to local literacy-related groups, especially schools. So we haven't really suffered as far as our budget is concerned for our fundraising yet. We'll see what happens in the coming year.
What's your average turnout for a meeting percentage-wise? Are you running about 50-50?
We're running about 55% of our members who attend every meeting. And some meetings, like yesterday, we had more because they wanted to hear Ron.
Well, that's governor's dream, but I don't know whether it passes the 4-way test. So, all right, Ivan, why don't you tell us a little bit about Chevyville?
The Rotary Club of Shelbyville is meeting, has been meeting since July 1, face-to-face. We have 16 members. We're averaging 12 who come face-to-face, but we do offer Zoom, and we have 2 members who are more comfortable Zooming in, which is fine. The local restaurant where we meet, you order your breakfast, and they have the table spread out so that we're, practicing social distancing. The good news, we will be inducting our first new member next week. And we have a second potential member who hopefully will be coming next week to the second meeting. We set a goal of 6 this year, so that's moving forward. Our biggest challenge is we were not able to have our fundraiser, a golf tournament in May. And last year, we were also not participating in the Celebration Horse Show, our food booth, because we didn't have adequate people to help. So we didn't raise any money last year, and that's going to be our challenge to come up with some new creative fundraisers this coming year. Okay. But a good start, and good program so far.
Yeah, and certainly great attendance at your meeting. So congratulations on that. Woody.
Okay, yes, we're doing hybrid meetings right now. Ron actually was at our club today, and we're in transition from moving one place to another where we start next week. So we were all on Zoom today. But we've been getting about 13 to 15 live members showing up, and we have about I'm going to say 20 to 25 usually on Zoom for our meetings. It's been pretty consistent that way. One cool thing is we have a 92-year-old who is on his iPad and on there with us every week and doing it. I have trouble, so I don't know how he's doing it. So I think I love the idea of Zoom for certain things. Nothing will take the place of the camaraderie for a live meeting, that's a fact. But you know, for the people that might have an illness or a disability and just can't get out of the house, we have one or two joining us that haven't been coming to our meetings before the COVID days. We'll probably keep this on. Hopefully, people will only use it if necessary. But one thing you can get, when we talked about this, you can get a speaker in California to present to your club. It's a good thing. There's nothing like the live meetings, however. We're all playing it pretty safe, and it'll probably be quite a while before we go back to really encourage total live meetings.
Yeah. Thank you, Woody. You're a little optimistic to hope you're going to get a California speaker for your morning breakfast meeting, but that's okay. It's a good idea.
He or she will have to get up quite early to do that. So,
well, Rotarians do that kind of thing. So, Doug, tell us a little bit about Lafayette. I know you guys have done a couple of things over there already.
Yeah, we've been on a roller coaster. Of course, we went to switch to Zoom, and shortly after went back to meeting in person. There was quite a bit of a spike locally in our area, so we went back to Zoom, and we just voted and approved yesterday to start face-to-face meetings next week. So we will go back. Our participation thus far via Zoom has been very low. I think we've got 38 active members, and a good Wednesday meeting for us on Zoom is 12 to 15 members. When we're face-to-face, we normally have 30 to 32. So that's kind of been our transition. As far as that decision and what kind of prompted it, we do have several prominent members that are part of the school board, and they brought it up that if school's going back and most of our businesses are open, then we might as well start meeting in person. So I was glad to see that. I didn't bring up the motion, but they did, and it was seconded, and we all voted for it. So
okay, great, thanks, Doug. Mike, tell us about Cleveland.
We're doing good in Cleveland. We're kind of like Doug just said. We started back live meetings in we were Zoom in April and May, and then live meetings in June, and then we went with no meals, and then July 1 we started back with meals, box lunches, and then after that one meeting, the museum where we meet closed, and so we had to go back to Zoom for 3 weeks, and then August 1 we started back live, and we've had three now good meetings. It's worked well. Something a little different for us. We're hybrid too, and we've seen an increase every week as far as people coming in person. But this past week, and I've been trying to really plug the programs. I've got 2 program chairmen, and the 3 of us have had 2 sit-down meetings just brainstorming on, good programs. And I'm calling in every favor, to any connection I have, and we've gotten some really good ones. But I've got Randy Boyd coming from UT. I served on the board there for a while, and we've got a really good one with that I wanted to share with everybody. Linda Moss Mines I served with her on the Erlanger board. She is on the Tennessee Historical Commission, and the 19th Amendment was celebrated this past Tuesday, and she's going to come speak next week and do her reenactment, and she'll be in full costume and everything. So that's going to be really fun. So I'm trying to try to find fun things like that to draw a crowd. Well, it worked. We had with Zoom and in person, we had 63. And that's by far our highest number. And that included 2 visitors, one who's been proposed and one who is being proposed. I'm proposing him, so we'll have 2 new members coming in. But the difference I was going to point out, though, is sure, we have some elderly that may not be Zooming. A lot of our elderly are Zooming, but I'm missing our young people. We've got a probably 30, I'd say the 30 to 40 age range. I can start naming off some names. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them on Zoom. I haven't seen them in person. They're paying their dues. They haven't gone away. We're reaching out to everybody. We had a phone, kind of a phone-a-thon, and divided up all the names of our membership with the board members, and everybody took 8 or 9 names. We have 120 members in our club, so you can kind of see where when I say 63 showed up, I feel like we've seen from some people, but there's like a third of our club that I haven't seen, and that worries me a little bit. Yeah. But we're doing the outreach, and I think I had one guy come back that hadn't been there in 2 years, and because of that outreach, and he paid his back dues and he showed up at the meeting Tuesday, so I was thrilled about that. But, it's just going to be a moving target all year.
All right, thanks, Mike, and certainly I want to express my condolences to you and your club. Mike's club has lost 2 past presidents this month, or basically since the year started, and and that's really tough. And I know Beverly lost one of their longtime members recently too. So,
yeah.
And it's really hard. We miss celebrating the good things, but we also now don't have a chance to really grieve together either, and it's really hard.
Right.
So
we lost one the very first week in July, and then we lost the second you're referring to, and we're actually going to dedicate in 2 weeks. We're going to dedicate our meeting to Kim and sort of have an open mic and let people come up and talk about Kim and what all she meant to our club, and also she was selected last year as Rotarian of the Year, and so we're going to present that award to her family. So.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Bonnie, tell us a little bit about Manchester.
Well, we changed our meeting day officially to Tuesday, and yes, I finally was able to put it in my Rotary because my Rotary got up and active again. We had 2 new members join, so that was good with that move. We will, believe it or not, Coffee County still thinks they're holding their fair next month, and we usually sell funnel cakes, so we're still sort of on to that. We're sitting there waiting to see if this is really going to be something that'll happen. Of course, we also do our flags, which we'll be putting out for Labor Day. And our dictionary program, we're ordering our dictionaries and contacting the schools to see how they want us to probably distribute them, probably just leave them at the school and let the teachers distribute in the classrooms because we won't be there. And hearing some of the stuff that some of you have said, I've had an idea now just sitting here, is that our club was formed in 1935, so it's a very old club. And so I think in October is our anniversary, that maybe we'll have an event called Party Like It's 1935 and see how we go with that. So that sounds like it might be fun. Of course, we're going to do our Purple Pinky Dunkin' Donuts in October too.
All right, it sounds like lots of fun going on there. So, all right, who have I got next on here? I've got Harold. Etowah. How are things in
Yeah.
Etowah?
Greetings from Etowah. We're here. We did start August 1st of August meeting again in person at the restaurant where we have normally met. Social distancing, and we have not been bringing speakers in, but we have encouraged our members that to get up and talk a little about what they do and something about themselves, and that seems to have gone well. We are limited. We weren't able to do our golf tournament earlier, and we're looking at some alternatives. We still have whole sponsors that are wanting to contribute to the club, and even though we're not playing this year, we're looking at some possible options on other fundraisers for later on in the fall. And one was sort of a fun run or a mountain run, and people could even pay not to run. So, that's something that we're looking at too, that they want to contribute and not run. So some of us may set it out. We're able to, TVA had some matching funds, COVID relief. So our club, in conjunction with others, were able to raise about $14,000 in matching funds with TVA match. And half of that went to our care organization that helps people with their utility bills. And the other half went to food bank operations there in the Etowah area to help people during this COVID time, if you will. But we've had about 18 to 20 members, which for us is about normal, to meet. And we are cautiously watching things, and so far so good. And we're looking forward to hopefully a more normal year next year.
All right. Thanks, Harold. I see Valerie here is with us, and Valerie's going to tell us about Crossville Breakfast, aren't you, Valerie?
Yes, I am. We're meeting exclusively by Zoom. We attempted to meet in person 1 week, and then we had a spike, and so we've gone back to Zoom. Our percentage is at about 50%, 52%, so it's not that bad. I would like it to be better. We only have 27 members in our club, though. So, but I like some of the others that I've mentioned. The younger people are surprising me. I thought this would be a good opportunity for them to join when otherwise they couldn't, but they're the ones that are missing in our Zoom meetings. Our big fundraiser is in December, which is a chili cook-off. So we're hoping that we'll be able to have that. If we don't, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but that's in conjunction with our Christmas parade. So there's no word yet on whether the Christmas parade will continue. So we're waiting on that. Another advantage to Zoom, which I meant to mention earlier, we have a member that moved away to Arizona to retire, and he's been joining us with our Zoom meetings, which has been a real pleasure. It's been nice to be able to talk to him again, and he's enjoying it as well. Our meal money, we are making it optional for members to donate to the foundation. It's not mandatory that they pay it, but they can optionally send that on to the foundation. So that's one way that we're still contributing. And we're just ready for the opportunity to do our service projects. We're just kind of on hold right now.
Okay, great. Thanks, Valerie. David.
We had been meeting exclusively by Zoom here at Cook for Breakfast Rotary Club until this week. We held our first hybrid meeting, which was very successful. We had been around 52% as well doing just Zoom, but we shot up way over that when we had our hybrid meeting because we had a lot of members, probably at least 4 or 5, that did not want to participate in Zoom, but they were happy to come and meet in person, even if there was just a small number of people meeting in person. And so we're looking to see those numbers increase as we continue to have the hybrid meeting. With our hybrid meetings, we're also having programs that are done over the internet. And so that's been pretty successful. We've kept up our plans of having a golf tournament here next month. And it seems to be rolling forward just like it's done in the past. So I'm very pleased with that. We are planning to do our dictionary project, but working with the school board to see how we might need to tweak it. We may have to do some kind of video presentation instead of an in-person presentation, but that's okay. The kids will still get the dictionaries. We're moving forward as if COVID-19 is not going to be around forever. That's all I know to say.
All right, great. Thanks, David. Ed, how about a Farragut update?
Okay. We've been meeting right now exclusively by Zoom, and we did a survey of the membership to determine how many people would be comfortable during the pandemic in attending an in-person meeting, and the majority was not comfortable meeting during the pandemic. We had challenges where we met for social distancing, et cetera, at Foxton Country Club. And our last meeting, in-person meeting, was on June 24th. Therefore, we don't charge right now for our meals. One meal was $16. We are now giving members an opportunity to contribute if they would like to, on a quarterly basis, just above the price of a meal, $24 or thereabout, in order to assist in our donations. Our big fundraiser has been the wine tasting, and we have not canceled it, but we have moved it into next year in hopes that we still will be able to do that. In the meantime, we're doing something, an online auction we're planning to do, and hope that a silent auction online. Additionally, as for the socialization, we have every month, third Thursdays, we call it, smaller group can get together for social activities, and even though we don't count meeting, it counts as a makeup. So we're moving right along. Have a few service projects in mind, but as I said, right now everything is being done virtually. I'm looking at the possibility. I know through September, pardon me, we've got meetings scheduled, and they are all virtual. We'll probably may look at sometime in the future hybrid. Attendance at our last meeting was not very great. Our attendance has been just under 50%, somewhere in that range. We've got about 100 members. That's where we are.
All right, thanks, Ed. And now the hard to catch Kim Padilla, and I say that because she's been at the top of the screen, she's been on the right hand side of the screen, she's been at the end of the screen, now she's kind of in the middle. So Kim, it's your time. I caught you.
All right.
Go ahead.
I've been jumping around, I guess. So we have, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I have a dog in the background, so if he starts barking, bear with me here. So we've had a little bit of slippage on our membership. We have a hybrid model. So we are meeting via Zoom every week and then in person every other week. We've had
What
to change.
club? What club are you?
Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg. Thanks. We've had to change our location and change the way we serve food. But we have been very blessed to be able to participate meet at the Gatlinburg Event Center, which is a beautiful event center with a wonderful, wonderful view. It's just taken us a little bit of time to figure out the Zoom versus in person in that venue, but it's been awesome. Like I said, a little bit of slippage in terms of how many folks are meeting each week. With regard to fundraisers, we still have our flag program, so we still put flags out down the streets of Gatlinburg, and that still has gone on without a hitch. We were scheduled to have 2 reverse raffles this year. The one that was to take place in April didn't take place. We are still scheduled to have one in October. We are partnering with the quarterback club at the Gatlinburg-Pittman High School to handle that fundraiser. And we'll probably know around Labor Day whether or not they're still ready to go forward. It depends on what happens within the school. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. And then we also have a golf tournament scheduled for September 23rd. And that event is still going. Our next big service project is typically our Christmas program. And we're probably gonna have to reinvent and redesign that because we certainly don't want to bring a whole bunch of kids together in handing out Christmas gifts and having pizza in our normal location. So yet to be determined how we're going to handle that. But we're very blessed and very grateful that our members are safe and healthy, and just keep staying positive that COVID's going to go away at some point. So all good.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kim. Okay, and another person who's moved around a little bit on the screen is Nancy Green, South Campbell County. Are you there, Nancy?
No, I had myself on mute. Now can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Good. I actually dialed in on phone so you can hear me. We are in South Campbell County doing live meetings and have since July 1st with a great deal of success. We're meeting in a church gymnasium. We're social distancing. We have 6-foot tables spaced very far apart with 4 chairs at each table. We're having our speakers and we're having hot meals. It's working out really, really well for us. We are having our golf tournament, which was scheduled for May. We are now having it on September 16th. And we are having, through a Rotary grant that we applied for and received, we're doing a Build-A-Bed project on September 26th. And those are very well-attended events in the past, and I expect the full coverage of our Rotary Club to be there. We did a memorial in honor of one of our members that had passed away, one of our founding members, about 3 weeks ago, and we had 50 people to attend that, and it was very highly successful. A lot of dignitaries came, and it really gave our Rotary Club a shot in the arm too, because of so many visitors that got interested in our Rotary Club at the time. But everything's going along smooth. In addition to live meetings, we are doing Facebook Live so that people that cannot attend can still feel like they're there. We normally have around 35, and we're having between 15 to 20 people attend each time. And that's about it for South Campbell County.
All right, thanks, Nancy. And last but not least, our district governor nominee, Al Clark. Al, tell us a little bit about what's happening in your home club, Franklin County AM. I think that's your home club, isn't it?
Yeah, it's here, Franklin County AM. We are on track with our meetings. We are meeting in person. We have 1 or maybe 2 that attend via Zoom, but mostly we're meeting in person. And we are on track with all of our service projects. We did have to move the world famous pig roast from June to August this time. And we sold out 80 butts and made some significant money for the Franklin County High School Interact Club. Enjoyed the success of that event. Moving forward, we will we're planning now for our golf tournament, October the 17th. It's the 5th annual Burl Howes Memorial Rotary Golf Tournament. We hold it here at Scenic View Golf Course, and we expect a good turnout for that. Golf is very popular in this area still, and we're planning some things the following week for the Purple Pinky Dunkin' Donuts. We're going to augment that with a dunk tank here and try to raise some money to dunk some of the local celebrities here in this area. So we're on track planning, and it was a little slow getting started, Ron, but as you know, but things are going well right now.
I have to ask this question, Al. Are you going to be one of the donkeys?
I'll probably be first on the seat.
That means you're first one in the cold water then, right?
Yeah, I'll be the coldest one, yeah.
There you go.
And probably raise the most money.
Well, that's okay too, right?
Yeah, that's okay too.
All right. Well, we're coming up on 8:30 Eastern time, and we ran maybe a little longer than I would have thought that we might have run, but I want to thank everybody for sharing. I think it's really important that we share ideas with each other, especially in these really unusual times. I learned a lot from all of you tonight, and I think I kind of want to leave this with going back to what Kim said, which some of you have heard me say in my governor's speech, and that is staying positive is really important now. And I certainly want all of us to continue to stay positive, be engaged, and have some fun. So thanks everybody for participating tonight. We'll probably have another one of these in about another 90 days or something like that. If we need to do it earlier, let me know, but I think we're probably all zoomed out now anyway, so probably less is more, but we'll kind of see what happens. So anyway, please share ideas that you have with each other, especially any of your membership stuff. Send it to me and to Al, and speakers, send it to me, and we'll see how much we can move around and get some things done. And any other questions and comments that you have, I'm here. Where else am I going to go, right? So, you know where I am. So, thanks again, everybody, and have a great night. And for those of you I haven't seen yet at your club, look forward to being there pretty soon.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you. See you later.